Episode 99, Five Drinks for Midnight. Another show. We bring the questions, guests bring the drinks. We try to wrap up before midnight. Today we are talking to bar manager, environmentalist, bartender, Finland's world's best bartender, not once, but twice, Liisa Lindroos. And that's not just me saying that, that's actually proven fact. She has represented Finland twice in the world's best bartending competition. Before we get started, like, subscribe, leave a comment if you like what we're doing. Let's get started. Liisa, thank you so much for joining us. Five Drinks or Midnight, 5 drinks, 5 questions. I think you might be the farthest person that we've ever interviewed. So how's it in the future in Finland?
It looks amazing. It's summer and everything.
Excellent. Again, thank you so much for doing the show. We are huge fans. We saw you on the Spirited documentary, and it was just, I was like, I have to talk to her. So thank you so much for joining us. I guess the first question is really, what are we drinking first?
Alrighty, so let's start with the house classic of Bardem, a Pussy Farts.
Oh.
Yeah.
And when you said that, I was like, yep, I knew she's going to be fun to talk to. Because
Yeah.
all right.
Exactly.
Could you please just tell us a little bit about the cocktail?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is our Bardem's house classic. It's been on a menu like almost 4 years now. And it started with an idea of creating a cocktail on Valentine's Day with something like fruity and sour and a little bit pink at the same time. But because of the idea of the bar itself is to kind of break boundaries and stuff. So we wanted to create a name that kind of like, makes people to talk. And that's, yeah, exactly. So that's why I found out that Pussy Farts. And like the feedback has been amazing, and since then it's been on a menu. So yeah, it's definitely the most known drink in the bar.
Awesome. Well, cheers.
Yes.
That is really fucking good, though. Honestly, like that is so. I was with the I mean, the plum liqueur was absolutely like that. The Japanese, like, I was like, okay, with grappa, I was like, all right. But yeah, just
yeah, it just works.
Yeah,
it shouldn't, but it works. Yeah.
Now I know why it's been on the menu for years. Oh wow,
a good reason for you to come back to come by Finland,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now we definitely have to come over. Like, that's just that's so damn good. I was not expecting that. Okay, no, it's really good. I love that. That's okay. So question 1, it's always a little bit of an origin story, but I mean, how did you get into the hospitality world? I mean, I know you went to school for hospitality, but like,
all right, yeah, it kind of started like by accident. When I was still in high school, I was working while I was studying still, and my first job was working in a cafeteria and to see in the hospitality industry. And back in the days, it was just like doing something while studying. And I have always felt a bit different in a sense. Like I love doing stuff with my hands and create something for people, and showcase of what I can create for someone. And when I graduated high school, I started thinking like, what should I do next? Like, where should I go for study, or like maybe university or some kind. And then I actually applied for the bachelor degree of hospitality management, and I just went there to study. I wasn't still quite sure of what I want to do. Like, was more like in restaurants or pubs or in nightclubs, because I had tried everything already. But nothing felt like super my thing. But then I had this like trainee period when I was still studying, and I wanted to try something new. And I found this like local cocktail bar. It was the only cocktail bar back in the days, like on the city that I was studying in. And I went by and I was like, oh my God, this is like amazing. Like, it's like like a dish or like a amazing food experience in a glass. And then I applied and I went there for training and I fell in love for cocktails like straight away. And I was like, yeah,
Awesome.
this is stuff. Yeah, 100%. So, you know, I can do something, I can use my creativity, all my ideas, and, you know, create something for others, but still kind of have fun at the same time, you know, to play a little. So I was like, yeah, this is my stuff.
Like how did you get into like that role of managing the bar and stuff like that? And then we'll get into competitions a little bit later, but I mean, going into then from managing even into competition wise.
Yeah. So well, when I finally found cocktails in my life and I started studying, like I tried to include cocktails somewhere on my studies. And when I graduated, I went to work in this place. It was a much more bigger volume place, like 600 seats, like a terrace, but there wasn't some kind of cocktails on the menu. So I started with that by being a bar manager and just creating some kind of cocktail culture in a bigger volume places. So I was just basically, I was learning while I was working and studying about cocktails more and more. And then I took a part of my first competition. So it was 2019, the work class. And I was the first one who was outside of Helsinki to be able to represent Finland. It was kind of like a shocking moment in a sense. For me as well, because I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, oh, so this is fun. And then I end up representing Finland, and it was a big deal. And yeah, I had that adventure. And then when I came back, I just started to get like calls from different places, like, do you want to come to work here? And I was still living in Tampere, which is like a bit more smaller place in Finland.
Okay.
I was dreaming of it that I want to move to Helsinki. I mean, it's capital and everything. So if I want to learn something in Finland, I should do it in Helsinki. And I get this really good like opportunity and offer from Bardem. They were just opening this place, and when I came here, I was working with the I wasn't manager straight away, but I was like co-worker of the manager, and then I started managing it like 6 months later, and here I am still
Nice.
for later. Yeah, exactly.
Well, again, I mean, I think that's a freaking amazing origin story. Just you know, jumping in and then also 2019, you know, going to Worlds is just absolutely amazing. So, I mean, cheers to you. I mean, so that's question one. Super easy. Band-aids ripped off, and we're good to go. So, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Question two, drink two. What are we drinking?
All right, so now we're gonna drink my world-class cocktail called Naughty Singletini.
Excellent. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, that's fucking good. That is. Oh, I mean, I'm sure I pretty much made it all completely wrong, seeing what you have. But now again, reason number two to come to Finland. So like, it just it just okay. So question two. I mean, we can just really dig into the cocktail and question two all at the same time, because that's where I fell in love and started stalking you, was based off of the spirited documentary about Worlds. And I have to say, Worlds, for people that don't know what Worlds is, can you talk about that? But then also, it looks so intense, and like it's almost like World Cup, football finals, the Super Bowl here in America. Like, it just seems like it is so intense, and like they were breaking it down, and we saw like your board that you had pinned up in your house, and you had printouts and post-its, and then like you were taking drinks to your mom, and like it was everything. Can you talk about just a little bit of the process? One, what Worlds is. Two, the process of getting to Worlds, and then three, what it takes to actually perform at Worlds.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So yeah, World Class is the biggest bartending competition in the whole world. In each year, there's like tens of thousands of people applying for the competition itself, and it's hosted by Diageo, and it takes around 6 months. So there's like a different like stages. So first you apply for like your own country finals, and then you apply like the next step, which is might be like the nationals, and then the next step, which is the globals, and so on. So what it makes a bit more challenging and different competition compared to everything else is that it's bartending competition. It's not a cocktail competition. So they're not looking for just a one good drink. They're looking for personality. They're looking for someone who's great in every aspect of being bartender, like hospitality, speed, creativity, flavor, like everything. So yeah, it's super challenging competition. I was able to do it twice. So they have this like a law that people can only be representing their own country twice in their life.
Which
So that
that's a stupid rule, by the way. So that is just
I might agree, but like let's not go in that. But
that
yeah,
way you just need to move to a different country and win there and then go compete under a different.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that.
Yeah.
So let's see. But yeah, so I was able to be there on 2019. So it was the first competition that I never had. And then you have to take at least 1 year off before you can take a part for another time. So then COVID happened and everything. So there was, I think it was 2020 that there wasn't even a work class at all. So I was able to take part of the work class 2022 again.
Okay.
And I did. And I was able to represent Finland again. So it was my last chance to kind of do as best as I can and see how far I can get. And after that, it's just done. You can just try again. And so yeah, it's around 6 months, and it takes much of time. You get lots of like pressure, and it's like it's mentally and physically challenging competition. But at the same time, I have to say, like when we talk about my career or like things that I've been learning while I've been bartending, those are the biggest times of my career when I've been actually like pushing myself even further and further and further, and just like surprise myself even, which is super cool.
And then because again, it's 4 categories, correct? That they give that you're judged in, and then do they give you like each 4 because there was like this was the whiskey challenge, right? That's where you came up with this drink, correct?
So it depends on every year.
Okay.
So basically, like in the globals this year, the first challenge was with Kettle One, which was vodka challenge, but it was judged before the globals in Sydney. So it basically like the first challenge, and they put us to different groups based on the scores you're getting from the first challenge. And on the globals itself, there was like a whiskey challenge with Singleton, tequila with Don Julio, and Johnny Walker, and Tanqueray challenges. And if you were able to be in top 10, then you had one extra challenge like on the finals.
Okay. So then with this one, like you got it was a singleton challenge, and so like did they give you the brief and then you have the 6 months to come up with a cocktail? Is that how? And then like when you got the brief, where did you go from there? Like how did we end up at this magnificent drink at the very end?
Yeah, so like the competition itself is 6 months, but like because there's different stages, basically like the last 2 months is based on like it's focused on the globals. So you will get the challenges before the globals, or around 1.5 months before.
Okay.
The challenge with Singleton was to create a new modern classic, a whiskey modern classic that has a story behind it. And so to create a classic, in my opinion, it should be super simple and something that you are able to do even in a bigger bars or with the high volume bars. So there shouldn't be anything like super like specific or like difficult stuff to do by yourself.
Okay.
and then I started thinking about the stories, and I really like doing the drinks on a personal level. So I wanted that there's like a personal connection with the drink itself. And the story itself started with the idea of because when I was a kid, I was like really, really bad kid. I did lots of like stupid stuff, like super stupid stuff. And one of my favorite memories is that when I was around 6, 7 years old, and me and my mom, we were spending summertime in my auntie's house, and I was outside for playing like for a while, and then I came back inside. I was so excited. I ran to my mom. I was like, Mom, guess what? She's like, what? I ate mushrooms. And she's like, you did what? Yeah, I ate mushrooms. And she was like, because like, I mean, we have lots of edible mushrooms in Finland, but most of them are not. So
They're
my
not.
mom freaked out. Yeah. So she freaked out. Like she would try everything to, get those mushrooms out of me and everything. And, but I was like, yeah, mushrooms are fun. And it ended up in the situation when my mom just lost her shit, and she was like, you know what, I give up, I hope you just don't die. And just left me there. Apparently I didn't, as you can see.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite stories. And then I came up with like, okay, I need to use mushrooms some way, because I want to get that story there. And then I want to make something a bit more different with whiskey-based drinks, like not so super like boozy, dark, like stiff drinks, but a bit more like lighter drinks. And Dirty Martini came to my mind because it's one of my favorite cocktails. And I was like, okay, what, like mushrooms and the saltiness and the earthiness with like light, vermouth and whiskey, like that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just tried it out, and I was like, oh my God, this is the drink. It's super simple and everything. And it's the noticing martini, as I was a kid, not naughty.
No, and again, it honestly, like yours is way better, but like this is just, it's fucking amazing. Like it is like a martini, but it's light. It's got a little bit of the like the salt. It's just, it hits all the flavor points. It just is so good. Like yeah, I'm gonna do you proud. I'm gonna keep working on this because this is just absolutely amazing. So
yeah, glad to hear.
I will do better, chef, next time, I promise. Question 3, drink 3. What are we drinking?
All right, so the next one is my favorite classic of like this time, which is Naked and Famous.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, no.
Cut me off. I'm spilling already. But cheers.
Cheers.
Mine is pink. It just, I don't know why it looks so orange on the.
It's good.
So why is that your favorite? Just out of curiosity. I mean,
honestly, like, well, when I'm doing drinks, like my basically idea is I like super funky flavors, and I like lots like funky and super strong flavors, interesting flavors. So like spirits like mezcal, tequila, raicilla, like pisco, the spirits that have lots of like full body flavor are my favorite to play around with. But I also like super simple drinks. So like, Naked and Famous of being like a sour style drink, it's just, there's so much flavors and like layers, but it's still like super easy drink until the end. So I think, yeah, just not really like a specific reason why, but just.
okay. I mean, I'm not gonna argue. I drink what you like, and everything will be fine. So I just think out of, and again, I think you said you nailed it. You like funky flavors, which again, I'm down for it because again, our social stalking of all your cocktails, they are funky flavors, and we talked just a little bit about it, but it shouldn't work, but they do, and it is just freaking amazing. So, all right. So, question 3. We found an article that you you like to show off your chick energy. I think that's the way it was translated. I think it just means that you want to be a badass boss bitch, which you are. And so we raise a glass to you. But and you want to be a role model for not just even female bartenders, but to get more women to go into competition, because it was said that only 4 women were at Worlds this year. Like it was, and so if you give any piece of advice for women that are already in the bar industry, but why should they go and compete? Why should they get into competitions?
I think because like bartending or cocktail bartending is like a really like we have much more males in the industry than females. It has been changed for the past few years, like it's getting better and better, and we're getting kind of like an equal level, I think, which is super amazing. But like for some reason, for many years it's been mostly like males that has been competing or being like on stage of, you know, by doing something. And so for me, being like super, you know, colorful personality, I would say, in a nice way. I want to, you know, I want to showcase people that you shouldn't be, you know, put yourself in some kind of, you know, mold or anything. Just show off your personality and just be who you are. And, you know, you can be a badass beast as I am, or just like not, but, you know, be who you are and trust on that. And that's like my most maybe like the biggest thing that I want to, you know, showcase for others, but also to be kind of like a example of how far you can get by being like quite different, colorful female bartender. And because like I think still there could be much more females in the industry, and because we have what it takes, it's not about that or anything. I'm kind of wondering what's the reason of not, you know, females taking part of the competition and everything. So I don't know the reason why is it. So I don't know, maybe it's like it's being taught that it's only like male leading, you know, part of the industry or stuff, but it shouldn't be that way. So that's why I'm kind of like trying to be in example and pushing people or taking part of the competitions, because you will get yourself out there, people will know your name, and you will learn so much. And it kind of like tickens your like tights your what's the word, tickens your skin as well, like working under so much pressure and everything. So yeah, I think it's something that we females should do much more often, and, you know, just be proud that we are doing bartending as well.
Awesome. Is there, if you could go back in any competition and do one thing differently, is there something that you would do differently?
No,
No.
I have made mistakes, and I have been taking risks, but I have been really truthful for what I'm doing. So like even though I wouldn't be able to get as far as I wanted to, you know, I would still probably do this, you know, the things that I did the same way, you know. It's like you should
Well,
be true for yourself. Yeah.
and again, that was not meant as any disrespect, because I mean, you fucking made it to Worlds twice. So like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, I did not mean any disrespect on that whatsoever. It's just that it
No,
was,
no, no.
I mean, we
No,
bow
and it's
down to you because, yeah, like
yeah,
you've gone to Worlds twice. So yeah.
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 And it's like what I said in the documentary as well, like, because I know that um I am kind of, my personality is quite big and everything, and I'm taking risks, but I'm doing stuff the way I would like them to make them done, in a sense.
Yeah.
So my kind of motto was that they will hate me or they will love me, but
Yeah.
either or I will do the way that I want to be done. So it's
No.
like that's the most important thing.
No, absolutely. Yes, I agree. Be yourself, and if they don't like you, fuck them, because that's their
Yeah,
problem.
exactly. Exactly, yeah.
That's not, yeah. Uh, so again, I guess out of this, just the advice is just go fucking enter competitions, ladies, is really what you're saying. Because yeah,
Yeah, it's like I think it's just like find yourself who you are as a bartender and showcase that. And it's like, because I feel that it might be people think that there's a certain type of bartenders that should be taking part in competitions, like, you know, there's like a specific style of, you know, maybe working in a high quality, you know, fancy places, you know, wearing suits and everything. but it's just like whoever can take part of it, and it doesn't matter is it like a fancy bar or not, as long as you showcase you. And it's like, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that, not just for the ladies, but I think that is great advice. So that's an easy question 3. So there we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Question 4, drink 4. What are we drinking?
All right. So next one, we're gonna go with the super classic Tommy's Margarita.
Excellent.
Works in every situation.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Can't go wrong with a margarita. That's all right. So question 4, which is another, again, fascinating, deep dive into you. Like I said, we stalked the shit out of you. You're gonna need a restraining order. I don't even know if I can come to Finland on how much information. But one thing that your bartending life turned you not only into like a movie star or a documentary star and world famous bartender, but also an activist. So one of the things is that you have Bartenders of the Baltic Sea campaign, where you're trying to save bladder wrack, the seaweed that grows in the Baltic Sea. And again, just with all that kind of we talked about your weird combinations, going into the very first one with the mushrooms. You have a horseradish drink, which just sounds absolutely fucking amazing. And then this one where you take bladderwrack and then turn it into a soda and then make it. But can you talk a little bit about that, the Bartenders for the Baltic Sea campaign and what got you so interested in that?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the idea of the Bartenders of the Baltic Sea came from the work class as well. So it was the first challenge we had in Globals, which was the Kettle One with the garnish with good. And the idea was that you should create a drink that has some kind of positive impact on your local community. And nature has always been like super important part of my life. I was a scout girl for 12 years. I've been living in archipelago, like on islands and everything. So like I've been basically living, among with the nature and everything. So this one day I was just like walking past the ocean and I was watching like how beautiful it is during the summer and everything. And then I started thinking like Baltic Sea is one of the most polluted oceans in the whole world, even though it's quite funny if you compare it to, the countries like Finland or Sweden that has the purest water at the same time. So it doesn't make any sense, right? Like how? And then I started thinking like, is there something that I could do with my drink, to do even like the tiny bit of impact to help the Baltic Sea. And then I found bladderwrack. So it's like one of the seaweeds growing in the Baltic Sea, and it gives like lots of like cover and nutrition for all the species living in the sea. But because of the pollution, the amount of the bladderwrack gets like smaller and smaller every year. And I started doing lots of like research and everything, and I found out that it's like perfectly edible, and actually taste is quite good. And then I started like connecting different kind of like companies and everything. Like, hey, is there any chance that you could start farming bladderwrack in the ocean, so that when we are creating like farms in the ocean, we could help the sea do better, feel better, but also sell it as a nutrition for Finnish people, because you can use it while you cook, while you in like doing drinks or anything, because there's lots like super nice like seaweedy flavor, but not so thick or like a dark one, because now we are using lots of like seaweeds straight from Japan. Yeah. So why we're not using our own, even though it's grows right there. So then I started like getting lots of ideas and everything, and then I want to create a campaign of kind of bring bladderwrack to the knowledge of people, that people will find it as an ingredient and would get inspired and excited about it, and then in the future would be demanding or asking it around, so that we could create a market and start doing it, or like farming it in the ocean. So it would be like a bigger kind of like, you know, thing going
Awesome.
on. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it turned super good. And we had we have a like International Baltic Sea Day on August. So we had like a 1 week campaign with like 12 different bars, and they all made their own version of a bloody rag cocktail, and kind of like showcased it for the people, like, hey, how you can use it, which was super cool, because like there was lots of people coming just for that. They found out about like we are doing the drink with the bloody rag. They were like, I need to try, I want to try it, so that's why I'm here. And it turned out super cool.
Well, keep it on the menu, because that's why I'm coming, because I want to try it. So like that
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
yeah, and so like do you plan on continuing on with that? Because like it ended in September, correct? Like that was this past
Yeah.
September. So like, are you guys do you continue? Are you going to continue on with the campaign? Because I think it's freaking awesome that you got like 12 bars to make cocktails and like keep going. And
I'm planning, yeah, probably not 100% sure, but we are having the International Baltic Sea Day on August again.
okay,
So we are maybe creating a campaign around it, like at least some sort of, just keeping going, and, kind of waking up people again, like, hey, it's summer, it's sea and everything, and just flavors and stuff. So at least something we're gonna do. Not sure it's not gonna be the same that last year, but at least something. Maybe something with different restaurants, doing things together. But yeah, nothing official yet, but
okay,
lots of ideas.
all right. So that, I guess, just a quick follow-up before we get to our fifth and final drink, but what's next for you? Like, I mean, again, you're an activist, you're, a documentary star, you're competing again. Like, what's next? Where can like people see you and like, cheer you on? Like, what's next for you?
Right now, I don't know yet. Just I have no idea. I know. I was like, okay, so because I have been thinking the same question like for a while, like what should I do next? And I have ideas in my head, and I'm gonna do something,
Okay.
but not sure what it's gonna be. Maybe hopefully maybe going for the international markets, like maybe moving somewhere else, getting job for somewhere else. Because I've been always dreaming on living in somewhere else than in Finland. So maybe that, but in the other hand, you never know. Maybe open on bar or something,
Okay,
Let's
excellent. Well, again,
Yeah.
if you're ever in this lovely city, please look me up. I would love to show you around New York take you to my favorite drinking spot. So,
Absolutely.
question 5, drink 5, last drink of the night. What are we drinking?
All right. So I tried to find some kind of classic that kind of tells me about my personality, and because I'm quite energetic and spicy in a way, so I joined espresso martini, a classic.
Excellent. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah, a good coffee drink is always a great way to end the night. So it keeps you going.
Yeah.
All right. So question 5 comes down to the flip of the Whiskey Wednesday coin. You can flip it, you can spin it, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to answer. The coin will give us the answer. So it's all up about the coin, but you can answer if you want. But all right, question 5. Is it true that the only reason why Finland is the most happiest place in the world is because you're serving the country drinks?
Let's see.
Looks like a fuck yeah to me.
Yep. Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah. Excellent. Very true. Well, all right. Well, that's 5 drinks down, 5 questions answered. Liisa, thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you are ever in New York, please look me up. I would love to show you around. Again, cheers to you. And thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.